Obama equals Black George W. Bush. Yep, it's true. If you look at it on a factual basis, he is nearly as bad as George W. Bush is. The reason I say this is because, well, just look at his record. It's not that hard. First and foremost, the huge, giant myth surrounding George W. Bush is that he was a free marketer. He signed into law Medicare Part D, signed into law hundreds of new regulations. For God's sakes, he created a whole new government fucking bureaucracy, the Department of Homeland Security, which fucking hyper-regulated airports and all kinds of things. So, just to kind of establish that, George W. Bush was not a free marketer. He was as big of a socialist as FDR or Karl Marx, and Obama is pretty much his equal as a socialist and a few more things, but fundamentally he's just as bad. So, on a economics standpoint, they're nearly the same. They're both very, very big supporters of regulation. They're both very big supporters of bailouts, uh, loose Federal Reserve policy, keeping interest rates low. They both did that. Well, they didn't technically do that. The Federal Reserve Chairman did, but whatever. They were supporters of it. Anyways, that's economics. They're very similar. Now, of course, the rhetoric is different. The rhetoric does not equal what they actually do. And what they actually did, their actual economic plans, were very similar. And you'll say, oh, the Bush tax cuts. Well, Obama has made tax cuts too. And some of them in the form of subsidies to rich people, but in this case, green rich people, like Solyndra and that sort of thing. So it's disingenuous to say they have different economics policy, because any outside observer who wasn't seeing things through the lens of partisanship could see they're really not that different. On social issues, I don't know if you'd call this social issues, but like torture, Obama said he would close Guantanamo Bay and stop all this horrible shit we've been doing to prisoners. Still the same. We have a continuation of the war on drugs, a continuation of just about everything. Excuse me. Of just about everything that George W. Bush did, and people still think that Obama is something different. I mean, factually, there's no difference. When people say that Obama is radically different than George Bush or any president over the last 50 years, hell, 100 years, most of the time they're same. And factually, there isn't a, a ton of difference in what they actually do. There isn't. They talk very differently, and I'm not disputing that, but on a factual basis, they have very similar policies and things that they have implemented. So I find it so odd when people talk bad about George Bush, but then they vote for Obama, because Obama continues the war on drugs. He has made new wars, like as if two wasn't enough. He's getting us involved in Libya. Well, he got us involved in Libya. Shit, we're about on the war with Iran already. Obama's foreign policy is the exact same as Bush. It's the equivalent of going around to a hornet's nest and hitting it with a stick. That's the same policy George Bush had, and it's the same Obama does. He's just pissing on everything, making everything worse. Everyone would hate us. Shit, I bet $100 in the next 10 years we're going to go to war with Iran. I mean, it's just inevitable. Both of them were big supporters of increasing the size of the welfare state. Again, like I said, George W. Bush with the expansion of Medicare, and of course Obama wants to expand healthcare too with Obamacare, as they're calling it. Like as if the huge, ridiculous, bloated mess of Medicare and Medicaid was enough. We have to add more on top of that. Isn't that just lovely? But yeah, it's total bullshit when people think they're different, because they're really not. And Romney is no better either. Romney is Mormon Obama, and Obama's Black George Bush, and now Bush is I don't even know what to call Bush. Something really bad, but They're all basically the same. If you think they're really that different, you're a fucking retard and a partisan hack. I'm just gonna let you know. You really need to like actually think about things instead of just, well, my parents were liberal and I see things through the political hack goggles, and so I think they're different. It's not true. It's bullshit. Shit. Stop. Just stop. Just think, people. For God's sakes.